Hi everybody, this is RJ on the Happy Hen Hobby Farm, and I'm just going to kind of give you guys a view of what is happening to our property right now. It's just excessive flooding. We have had so much rain since September. There's no place for the water to go. We have brought in multiple truckloads, chip trucks of mulch to try to bring up some of the level of the property because we are just getting nowhere. There's no drainage anymore. There's no vegetation left. There's nothing but mud. These guys, there's Gemma, she likes to stand right under the edge of the house there. Now we've been under a rainfall warning since yesterday where it's 100 millimeters of rain in a matter of a few hours overnight, and which equals about 4 inches of rain. These guys like to stand, like I've said before in other videos, they in bad weather like to stay close to the house. So that's where they'll stand, right underneath the eaves of the house, and that's their preferred shelter. Now, as depressing as it is coming out here and seeing the yard, I really wouldn't even show this to you guys, but really when I say vegetation devastation, there is nothing left at all here. This is months and months and months of rain, and I'm having you notice how shaky the camera is. That is my boots getting sucked into the mud. Now down at the bottom of the property there, we brought in 5 trip trucks of mulch. Now those equal about a 5-ton moving truck, so 5 of them, and you can see that that is just a lake on top. Now we brought that mulch in because there was nothing draining and the lake was bigger. There's still nothing draining. With the amount of rainfall we've had, there's very little we can do. Now we did have some Good Samaritan phone the SPCA and put a complaint in that the horses have no shelter and that they have nothing but mud to stand in, and that they've never seen them be fed. So the SPCA came out to do a wellness check. First thing she said is, I saw you brought, I see you got all the mulch there, and there's nothing we can do about Mother Nature, and every property in the area has the same issue right now. It's just been months and months of rain, and there's nothing you can do about it. If you look over here where they're standing, you'll see that they're on mulch. It's a little higher. Over around here, closer to the house, the areas where they spend a lot of time is where the most mulch is. Now we tried to get more mulch in, but the trucks can't get in. It's just, the ground's too soft. So unless it dries out or freezes solid, we're stuck. This is all there is. Now as for shelter, these guys do have the big trees, and that's what she counted as shelter. All you need is the big trees. She said that's fine. Now I pointed out that the big trees are not their only shelter. I'm going to come over here into what they have is a open stall here. Now this used to be a tractor barn, and it's the only thing I've got them to actually go into and not fuss about. So the reason why the Good Samaritan never sees them get fed is that's the hay net. The hay net is in here because it's the only way for me to make sure they get out of the rain for at least 6 hours a day. When they get their hay nets, the hay net lasts them anywhere from 3-4 hours. We've been overstuffing them lately, so it's closer to 4. And they'll come in and they'll just graze on that and eat, and every once in a while go out for a drink and come back. They do this twice a day. So this space is big enough for them. They'll come in here even in the dark. They've gotten used to it now. They don't care. They know they're safe in here. They walk right in and they have no complaints. You'll see that the chickens have decided to move in here today too. It's just too wet. They can't manage well in all this mud. And if you're looking, it's just ridiculous. It is absolutely devastating to have to deal with this and know that the animals are stuck with this. And you drive around this area and it's all you see everywhere. It's just swamp now. What used to be green is nothing but swamp. So yes, it's depressing. No, we're not happy about it, and if there's anything more we could do about it, we would. Moving's not an option. So somebody, I guarantee, is going to say, well, why don't you just move? We live in British Columbia, the most expensive province in Canada. You cannot get even a tear-down condemned house on 1 acre here for less than $1 million. No exaggeration. You don't believe me? Look it up on realtor.ca and start looking at the Fraser Valley of British Columbia. There's nothing. It's impossible. So we're stuck here. And it's never been this bad. We've never had this much of a problem. This is an abnormal year, and we're hoping it ends soon. Unfortunately, we're still under rainfall advisories for the next few days. Apparently, we're going to get snow on Monday, and it's going to drop down to minus 3 or 4 degrees Celsius again. But then they're expecting by Wednesday it'll be plus again and more rain. So this just is not going anywhere. And if you looked at my videos from 2 weeks ago, we had -18 and there was snow. And that very same week, it went up to, you know, +4 or 5, and all the snow melted and we just got more rain. So it just compiled the problem. So we do the hay nets and alfalfa buckets, and I'm going to add to this video and show you our alfalfa bucket process to make sure that the horses are getting enough food and they're getting mineral supplements, because there is nothing here for them at this time. And we are just we're just praying for spring to come on and to dry up. This is brutal. So thanks for listening, and we're going to skip ahead to prepping alfalfa buckets and minerals, and I'll see you in a bit. Hi everybody, this is RJ from the Happy Hen Farm, and just wanted to give you some ideas of how to supplement feed when you don't have the ability to let your horses graze. We live on the west coast of BC, which is known for a lot of rain, same as the Seattle area, known for a lot of rain. This year has been the worst year I can remember for a very long time. We've basically had rain right from September all the way through. We're January 30th today, and we have had, I think, 3 weeks of dry days in total. So there's nothing left to graze on. It's all been turned to mud. The horses are relying on hay nets and supplements. So one of the things we do here is I will fill up these alfalfa buckets at nighttime and we soak them overnight. I don't feed dry alfalfa to the horses. There's no need to risk them choking, which is exactly what can happen. So I use, this is just a sour cream container. So just your large size sour cream container. I put 2 scoops of alfalfa in each bucket, and then I will put double that amount in water. So 4 containers of water for 2 scoops of alfalfa. And I soak these overnight, and I will mix them up in the morning, and then my neighbor, who's a fabulous person, will come over while I'm at work tomorrow, and in the afternoon give them the alfalfa buckets. They do get their hay net hung in the morning, and it lasts them anywhere from 3 to 4 hours. Just depends on the mood they're in. So the way we have it worked out right now is basically their meals are 6 hours apart. So they get their hay net in the morning. 6 hours later, from the time they're done the hay net approximately, they will get their alfalfa buckets. And then 6 hours after that, I hang another hay net for nighttime, and that'll last them 3 to 4 hours. And it just gives them something to eat during the night so that they're not antsy and looking for food. Because the weather just isn't permitting it. So I'm going to fill up these buckets with the water, and then I will come back tomorrow and show you tomorrow morning what they look like when they're done. And you can actually get a really good meal out of just a little bit of alfalfa. It's not overly expensive. I do add their minerals. I give them Dr. Reed's, whatever minerals, supplements you use for the horses. You know, this works really well because I just mix it in with the alfalfa in the morning while it's all rehydrated. And that way I know they're getting what they need. They don't have grass to graze on right now. There's no leaves on the trees, and we don't have well water. If you have a horse drinking out of well water, or any of your animals have access to well water, they're going to get more of the natural minerals from the ground than what's coming out of the city tap. So this is just a way to help them out. And here's Max the dog. Okay, so we'll come back in the morning and I'll show you what the buckets look like then. Good morning everybody. We are back with the alfalfa buckets that I soaked overnight. I'm just going to show you. These are the alfalfa cubes we started with. And whenever I get the big ones, I break them up before I add the water to the bucket. Now, before anybody says anything about the sissy pink blanket bucket, there is a reason for this. Now, when I do the horse's minerals, I just bury it underneath the top layer, you'll see. Minerals are given out by the weight of the animal, and our 9-year-old mare is considerably heavier than her 2-year-old colt. If you give too much minerals, excessive magnesium can cause a decreased calcium uptake, compromise intestinal integrity, cause heart conduction problems, and cause renal trouble. So there is such thing as too much of a good thing. This goes for humans as well. People who eat a lot of Tums or Rolaids actually end up having a heart conduction problem. This will decrease your heart rate, and you can actually end up going into cardiac arrest. There's a reason why there's a warning label. So the pink bucket is because when my 67-year-old neighbor comes out to feed the horses, I want to make sure that the horses are getting the right amount of minerals. It's okay if she didn't get quite enough, but it would be a problem if daily the colt was getting too much. So the pink bucket makes it easy for her. The pink one is for the girl, the blue one is for the boy. That's it. There's nothing about the pink or the blue that has anything to do with making sure, other than to make sure that these guys are getting what they're supposed to get. Hello, Lily. So at 2 o'clock this afternoon, when I'm not home from work or when I'm just getting home, these buckets will go out and these guys will get their afternoon feeding. You get quite a lot if you look. We started last night with just basically the bottom of the buckets covered, and that's 2 sour cream containers of alfalfa cubes with 4 containers of water. I mixed it up last night before bed to make sure that it's well turned. I just mixed it up again, added the minerals. They'll go to the mud room, and the horses will be happy at 2 o'clock. Happy trails, everybody. Hope this helps.